At first glance, the parable of the sower can seem to be a little frightening. Jesus tells the story of a man sowing seed, and of the 4 examples Jesus gives, only one of them will lead to a successful harvest. So, do I really have just a 1 in 4 chance of succeeding at following Jesus? Are the odds against me? This is another case where the land of the Bible has something to teach us. It's one of those secrets that are hidden in plain sight. In Mark's gospel, the story begins like this. Again, Jesus began to teach by the lake. The crowd that gathered around him was so large that he got into a boat and sat in it out on the lake, while all the people were along the shore at the water's edge. Now check this out. The northern shoreline of the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus told this story, has sloping hills and more than a few places where Jesus could have sat in a boat near the shore teaching the people gathered on those sloping hills. It would have helped with the acoustics. While we don't know exactly where Jesus first told this parable, this is another example of how the Bible's description of geography exactly matches the lay of the land. Let's put it into plain talk and try to communicate why this is important. You see, if you're wondering whether or not the Bible is telling you the truth, geography is one of those places where you can actually fact check the words of Scripture. That means if you're teaching truth from the Bible, it's highly likely that someone in your audience is struggling with what to believe about the Bible. And geography is always accurate in the Bible at the lay of the land. So let the land help you allow others to discover the amazing truthfulness of Scripture. Now, as for the parable of the sower, Jesus said that some of the seed fell on the path. The fields around this area have paths. Of course they do. It helps with the farming. In Jesus' day, farmers did not want people trampling on their crops, and so they left a way for people to walk through their fields. They left a path. It's certainly possible that a sower sowing seed, some of the seed might fall on the path, but no farmer would intentionally do that. Seeds were precious. They held incredible potential. The farmer wants a crop. He doesn't want to feed the birds, but it is one option that Jesus brought out in his story. Second, these fields are also full of rocks. If you hike among these fields, sometimes it seems as if the ground is growing rocks. The solution? Each year a farmer must prepare his field before sowing. He would remove all the rocks. The common practice was to throw all of the rocks to the edges of the field. This not only cleared the soil, but it made for an effective fence. Still, there could be rocks just under the soil. Now, if a seed began to germinate on top of a rocky area, it actually would shoot up very quickly, for the rocks hold heat from the sun, and that would give young plants in the cool spring an advantage over other plants. But the roots of the plant in this area cannot work their way past the rocks, so it won't be long before those young, rapidly succeeding plants will die. That would be unfortunate, and Jesus will later explain that some of the people would catch on very quickly, but fade away when a bit of trouble comes. You have an opportunity to not be like that, even though trouble is sure to come. For the third option in this parable, we need to go back to that rocky fence, the one that surrounds the field, because that's where you're going to get weeds, thorns, and thistles. That's a miserable place to be, whether you're a seed trying to grow or a photographer trying to get this photograph. Jesus said some people can't grow in discipleship because the worries of life and the desire for money and other things will choke them out the way thistles in the rocks would choke out a good plant. But pay attention, no farmer will ever intentionally throw seeds into such a place. As in all the other cases, any seed falling here would be the exception and not the rule. On the other hand, if a seed had legs, like we do, I guess that little seed could walk over to a bad place and plant himself or herself among the weeds and the thistles. That would be a poor choice, but all of us have the ability to make choices. So don't do that. Try not to get choked out by the worries of life or the deceitfulness of wealth. Thankfully, as you know, there's a fourth option. Some seed, Jesus said, were sown in good soil where they took root, they grew, and they produced a great crop. For me, this is the best thing all of these images have to offer you and to your audience. This is what blew me away the first time I saw the connection. Because when it comes to the fields around the Sea of Galilee, almost all of the space in the field is devoted to good, fertile soil. It's like this. You don't have a 1 in 4 chance of succeeding. You've got a 99% chance of succeeding. The fact is, Jesus wants you to succeed. He wants you to be fruitful. He wants you to avoid the pitfalls that could lead to something less than your best life. And someone in your audience needs to know this. Frankly, I think someone needs to see this. So tell them the story with these images and set your people free to go and bear a great harvest.